welcome to Tarot with Tanya, 7 cards for 7 days. And we are starting this time with December 19 and going through the 25th. So Christmas, if that's something that you celebrate. We start this week with the moon in Scorpio. And then by the time we get to Christmas, it is the moon in Aquarius. And I think the cards, there's some reflection of that here in those cards. And we also have 2 very important events during the week as well. That is the winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere on Wednesday. And then that's the return of the light, which is to me a wonderful thing. Living in Iowa, the days get very cold, very short on light. So it's always a wonderful thing when that shifts and we start to get more light back into our days. And then on Friday, we also have the new moon in Capricorn. And, you know, that's an earthy sign, one that represents manifestation. You know, if you follow these, you know, stories, different religions' perspectives, that is often the rebirth of a savior type as well. So we have that in our week. As always, take what resonates for you, leave the rest behind. It is a general reading, and I hope it helps as much as possible. Gives you a sense of grounding for the week, maybe a little heads up on what you might anticipate in terms of the energies, and then also hopefully a feeling of connection and creativity. How are you using your own knowledge, your energy, your points of view to shape your life in ways that make it a better life for you? So we're going to start with our Monday and the Hierophant. And this is the only major this week. So, you know, working into some themes here, to me that signifies that it is a new beginning, which fits with that Capricorn new moon and the return of the light as well. And the Hierophant's a deeply spiritual character. It can represent that that sort of inner religious energy or spiritual energy, if you prefer to think of it that way. I do, frankly. It can be connections to law, philosophy, things like that. But it seems to me in this week that it is very much about what is our spiritual touchstone, what is grounding us, where are we getting our guidance. And that's how we start off our week leading up to Christmas. And of course it's also Hanukkah as well. Again, other customs and traditions happening now as well. And you know, that fitting in with the other themes here, there's a fair amount of masculine energy and you know, some bursts of energy. With the return of light, you know, there's some interesting stuff that happens as well. So we get to our Tuesday and we get one of those bursts of light. And that is in the Son of Wands, or you might know it as the Prince of Wands, that fiery energy often seen as a young masculine figure leading a chariot, charging forward, maybe a big burst of sun or flames of some sort behind, motivating our character to move along quickly here. So our Son of Wands, in this one, of course, we have you know, a serpent figure and a kind of I don't know, plant. Reminds me of a dandelion that's gone to seed, but a nice sort of winding around this, and then that becomes our sunburst of energy. So there's a wisdom, you know, with the serpent being there. And you know, a new shining forth of the self, perhaps inspiration to get something done. Again, a new perspective. And then when we get to Wednesday, we drop into a different kind of energy, though it is one of new beginning, which makes perfect sense. As I said, that's the day of the return of the light. our winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere. So we have our Ace of Pentacles, again, nice earthy energy. This card is often associated actually with the solstice, the winter solstice, not the summer, but the winter one, and with the birth of a savior type figure. So that's really interesting that that comes up on the day of the return of the light. Look for a new concrete beginning for yourself as well. When we get to Thursday, we move back into that fiery energy, and we have the Four of Wands. I love the shapes here, a sort of God's eye in the middle that has that blue with, you know, the orange and the black around it. Often this card is like an arch, an entryway, a sort of tent of celebration. I think of it as very good energy, good vibes, moving into a celebratory energy. You know, here again, we've moved into the light. Four offers stability for us as well. So really good energy when we get to our Thursday, the day past the winter solstice. And then we continue with the fire, and we get to Friday, and now we've moved from the Four to the Five of Wands. So more of that fire energy, more of that inspiration. And in this one, you know, look at the way that the Five Wands are juxtaposed. One's going one direction, another. They're all different, and this can represent different points of view that are very energetically expressed. That can be externally or it can be internally. So it could be, you know, if it's internal, you're being pulled in different directions. You're of different points of view or energies about a situation, maybe involving 5 things, 5 people, 5 ideas, 5 days, 5 hours. That 5, you know, is that human number. And this is our second 5 for the week, because remember, the Hierophant is also the 5 in the major. So this is a stronger energy, but this one is connected to it. This one passes more quickly. But what is it about the human condition that's causing a little bit of potentially strife? Doesn't have to be a big deal. Just get that energy and use it in a way that you want to, rather than letting it kind of knock you around. When we come to Saturday, Christmas Eve, we get the 7 of Swords. Swords, mental energy, thought forms, can be lightning like quickness and those kinds of things. Here, maybe you can tell, I'll bring a little closer. There's a fox down on the bottom. I think he's very cute, but he is looking a little sneaky. You just see the one eye there open. And this can sneak up on us. There's a sneaky element. It is labeled as futility in the Thoth deck. And are we taking 7 swords and turning them on ourselves? That would be like 7 ideas. Well, I'd like to do this, but I don't really feel like I can. I'd like to do this, but I don't really think I deserve that. Or I'd like to do this, but I don't think I have the resources. What are ways that we sabotage ourselves with thoughts, or just get into that feeling of futility? No matter what I do, I can't seem to turn this around. And you know, sometimes that happens to all of us. But we have to remember it is a point of view. It is a mental perspective, and that we can change that. So 7s, interchanges, connected to the Chariot. The Chariot was the day that we ended our last 7 days on. So, you know, it comes up again in the sense of, you know, this is an aspect of it, and not to let ourselves on our Christmas Eve be challenged by many doubts. And they can just be, you know, really small, petty things. I think, you know, the positive side of this is to laugh and let them go. And say, yeah, there may be the challenges, but I'm going to sacrifice those. And I think Christmas Eve could be a wonderful time to do that. And then we come to Christmas and we continue with that sword energy. And this is the second, what we call royal cards, uh, court cards in the deck. Remember, on Tuesday we had the Son of Wands, also usually seen as the Prince of Wands. This is called the Father of Swords, but normally most decks would call it the King of Swords. So it's that final energy expression of the mental self, the mental body. And it can be very powerful, very intelligent, very articulate. On the, the darker side, it can be a little bit cold and cut off, but I feel that pairing this with the fact that that day also the moon moves into Aquarius, it is the positive aspect of the Father or the King of Swords, because Aquarius is the sign of the people, of humanity, of wanting the best for all. Yeah, it can be a little bit quirky and out there, but it really is driven by an energy of how can we help humanity? How can we be a part of positive change? There's a wonderful I don't even know what to call it, an entity out there called Playing for Change. You can find their videos on YouTube. These musicians come together from around the world. They're playing, in their places, but then it's all edited together to make these incredibly beautiful, inspiring videos of these songs with great messages about making the world better. How can we all chip in and do that? So I feel like our Christmas, again, if you celebrate that, or whatever energies you're celebrating next Sunday when that moon is in Aquarius, there is really great hope for humanity. That the masculine energy stops being toxic. When it gets expressed like that, we feel it is not good. We feel criticized. We feel put down. We feel separate. But this helps us join together and connect with people who are like-minded, and again with that really important spirit of let's take care of each other, let's help each other. Isn't that what it's about? Some people call this Earth School, and Earth School is pretty tough. So we need each other. We need to help each other. We need to love each other. So that's our week. Not a lot of the feminine energy. It's more on the masculine side, but we have, again, the wonderful return of the light on Wednesday, the new moon in Capricorn, and then the Christmas Eve and Christmas Day celebrations of the weekend. The energy of a new start spiritually, I think, is very strong here. So I forgot to mention, I'm using the Wild Unknown, and I'm also using the Wild Unknown Animal deck, the Oracle cards. So for us today, the otter came up, which to me just seems perfect. Otters are very playful animals, and you can imagine that that fits in with what is said about them. They represent unobstructed joy, playfulness, contentment, great energies to have during this week where we prepare to celebrate, if you're doing that with others, people you love, people you care about. So perhaps the most joyful creature within the animal spirit deck, the otter represents absolute bliss. Otter energy is the playfulness of a child, available to us at any age. They have a giddiness and reverence for life itself without the presence of doubt, worry, or skepticism. Imagine yourself with a little more otter energy. What would life look like? What would it take to bring you there? The otter card begs these questions and wants to transport us to that precious place as soon as possible. The celebration awaits. So when in balance, it's full of love and needs nothing. Out of balance, gloomy, sighs, makes silly excuses. And to bring the self into balance, dance, party, celebration. So, to have a good time and enjoy the self. How perfect. for the reading that we had today and for our Christmas celebration or whatever holiday that you might be celebrating right now. So I wish you the best, beloveds. I hope you have a great week. And if you are interested in a private reading, something to consider, please contact me at tarotwithtanya@gmail.com, and my website information will be below in the description box and at the end of the video. Have a wonderful week.